You are now watching the Lone Blown. Blown! Yo, what's poppin' YouTube? You want to see a sneaky lock deck? Well, this is what we got going on today with Dustox. Dustox is an amazing deck in PTCGO. It has the ability Hazardous Evolution. So you might be like, yo Zach, stage 2 Pokemon are absolutely whack. Let me know in the comments below. And if you hate this video, be sure to give it a like, share the hatred with your friends, and subscribe to it so you can see more awful decks. It's actually not awful, it's amazing. If you evolve this Pokemon, you can put 3 damage counters instead of 1, so triple poison, and paralyze your opponent's active Pokemon. Triple poison, paralyzed. Triple poison, paralyzed. Okay, whatever. There's Switch, there's Scoop Up Net, there's Escape Board. We have Cryogonal. Cryogonal stops your opponent from playing item cards. You might be like, okay, cool. That's like once. Well, this deck also plays Devolution Spray, so you can get back this, put it back into the deck, so you could evolve another turn. Has Super Scoop Up, so you could get it back again, and it has Scoop Up Net. So we got a lot of ways. We can control the damage output with Grimsley. We can use Zigzagoon, so we can always make sure that our opponent's under item lock, they can't attack us, and they're paralyzed and poisoned, so we could draw prize cards, and maybe force out some extra prize cards with boss's orders. A lot of decks in this current format do not have a good way to deal with this. Dragapult probably destroys this deck most of the time, but if we play against anything that's not Dragapult, we should be pretty cool. So let's jump into some games and see exactly how this works. Okay, so we're gonna call Tails, and we're gonna try to go first here. So we won the flip, and yeah, we want to go first just so we can evolve our Pokemon easier. Not like, this isn't bad, we just didn't get any Wurmples. We really want to get the Wurmples out so we can start evolving. That's fine, we'll see exactly what our opponent's playing. If they're playing Dragapult, we're probably just going to scoop this and go on to another game. Oh, they're playing a lock deck. We might be able to stop them with Frozen Lock. That might be interesting. Okay, we're just gonna leave it like this. And we're gonna pass. We should be okay as long as they don't discard too many of our resources. It's honestly a matchup I was never expecting to face. So they won't be able to use Lily's Pokédoll. Yeah, we should be able to win in theory. But this is going to put a test to what exactly we could do. I mean, I guess our opponent could get rid of energy. No, they can't with Crushing Hammer. We just need to, like, stop them. They can make us asleep with Mareep. That might be annoying. Okay, so we're asleep. That's fine. And we'll see if we can get out of a sleep. Okay, so we can start using Frozen Lock pretty soon. We're going to put a Turffield in play in case they do anything spooky to us. Let's attach that there. We're going to try to thin out our deck, just putting a Cascoon. I mean, I guess that doesn't really thin out anything. We're just going to go Cynthia. I was thinking about using Marnie, but our opponent's hand doesn't look necessarily great. We did not get a supporter. We did not get a Wurmple. But let's go Frozen Lock. And hopefully we can get out Frozen Lock for a while. Our opponent can't use any item cards. So they can't Crushing Hammer away our energy. We might be okay for a few turns here. We do play 4 Turffield Stadiums. So we should be able to get around any Slumbering Force that they might play. But we'll see what our opponent wants to put on top of our deck with Smooth Over. Or I should say on top of their deck. Okay, so there's the smooth over. Let's see what type of disruption is going to happen here. Don't think they have a way to draw it either. It depends on what they have in their hand. We didn't Marnie. They could have got something off Intrepid Sword. Okay, so they're going to have a way to retreat. And then they're just going to go Lily's Pokédoll. Intrepid Sorting again. Cool. We are awake again. Awesome. So, again, nothing that we can do except go for Turffield, grabbing a Cascoon maybe. And we're going to go Frozen Lock. I mean, they can't take that away unless they go Faba. I don't think they're going to screw around with the Escape Board. Yeah, let's just go Frozen Lock. It's just going to be a really weird game. But hopefully we could get our opponent in a lock if we could actually get some Wurmples out. Well, let's see how deep it goes. If this deck has a really good matchup against stall decks, it could actually see some success. Okay, they're going with the Bellabuzz already. What did they discard? Marnie, Quick Ball. Those were really good cards for us. I mean, not important to the overall matchup, but it's just something that we really could have used in the next few turns. I would have taken any of those 3 cards. So our opponent's going to continuously just use Macargo. Yeah, they're just going to concede. Okay. So I lost the coin flip. I'm going to go first. Okay, so that's weird. Our opponent's probably playing a deck that can actually utilize going seconds. Maybe it's like a Turbo Bolton like we covered before on this channel. Let's go with Cryogonal Start seems fine. There is a... I'm not going to put the Ditto down. It doesn't make sense to put one down on your first turn. It's actually not bad at all for us. Absol's a little weird. I'm going to discard a Cynthia and Caitlin. Search the deck. There's Wurmples. We have Cascoons. We have Dustox. We have our Scoop Up cards. So it looks like we'll be able to put our opponent in a lock. We did prize a few water energies, so that might be a little difficult. Wurmple, we're going to put down Ditto. And there's no point of us doing anything else. We're just going to pass here. We're going to find out what our opponent's deck is going to be. Okay, so Quick Ball. There's a Fire Energy. There's a Jirachi. I mean, it's likely a Welder deck at this point. See what our opponent gets off their Jirachi here. There's a Fire Crystal. There's another Quick Ball. I mean, Great Catcher, I mean, it's not going to really help out in this matchup at all. So it looks like we're playing against Baby Bullcephalon, which is typically a good matchup as long as we can get set up here. Okay, so they got a little bit of a poor setup there. It sucks because I really don't want to Marnie them. I really don't, but we need to draw more cards. And I'm not really thinking that Cynthia Caitlin's going to do enough for us. So, it's so tempting because our opponent only has a 2-card hand. But they do have Jirachi in the active position. I mean, there's a solid chance that something's going to happen there. Let's go for Cascoon here. Let's go. We need another Wurmple, if anything. It's just our Marnie led us into a super dead hand. Hopefully our opponent's not able to take advantage of that. We're getting set up. It's just not getting the supporters we want. So we'll see what our opponent does. I'm sure they're going to go for Stellar Wish here. And if they can't find their Welders or access to Quick Ball, they might have a dead hand as well. There's Stadium Nav. They might be able to grab out a Heat Factory. Okay, so they're going to grab some Fire Energies. That's awesome. There's another Fire Energy. An Oricorio. And it looks like their hand is not very good. Maybe they prize their Heat Factory and they don't really care about Ultra Space. They did Blazer us for 60 damage, which is spooky. Let's go Dustox here. We're gonna poison, triple poison and paralyze them. We really need something here bad. I'm just gonna quick ball this away and grab out our lone Jirachi out of this deck. I'm actually gonna go for the scoop up on the Cryogonal and hopefully it works. And we need to really hope that we can get something. Okay, so the Cynthia, that's good. Our opponent's hand's already bad. And we're gonna go Cynthia for fresh 6 cards. I mean, still not the hand that we're necessarily looking for, but there's a Cascoon there. Maybe our opponent won't be able to get out of our lock or anything like that. I'm just going to go ahead and put a Cryogonal down, and we're going to go ahead and pass with this Jirachi in the active spot. So lock decks can sometimes struggle to get set up at the beginning, but once this deck gets its lock in, I wouldn't be surprised if our opponent's not able to get it. So looks like they don't have anything. They're stuck there. We have a Scoop Up Net. Oh, it's so tempting. So we want to paralyze them again so they get knocked out coming back into our turn. So they're paralyzed so they can't attack us, even though their attack's not fantastic. Let's go for Turffield and see what we have in the deck one more time. We do have Escape Board. Do I want to Scoop Up Net the Jirachi? Let's use Jirachi first here. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We're not really looking for items. We're looking for water energy. So I'm going to send up the Cryogonal here. I'm going to put Jirachi down in case they are able to take a knockout. And I am going to go ahead and go for a Cynthia. So we did finally get our water energy. And our opponent's stuck in a frozen lock. So this is only if it's knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack. So they're not going to draw cards from the Lucky Egg either, which is going to put them in a really tough position. There's a Blacephalon-GX. I think they're just trying to get out of this however which way they can. So there's our prize card. Coming back into our turn, so you can see that our opponent has not been able to effectively attack or play cards from their hands, and they won't be able to use or Choreo because it's not during their turn. So let's go here. Let's poison and paralyze this Jirachi. Let's put a water energy on this Cryogonal. Let's go Scoop Up. That's cool, and we're just gonna... Is there anything that we have in our discard pile? I mean, I think we just go for a Cynthia here. And we're trying to get other cards that would allow us to de-evolve or Scoop Up Net or other things like that. We're not going to be able to put them in a perfect lock by any means, because next turn is where it's not going to work out. We won't be able to evolve, but that's fine. We're just going to grab a Cascoon out of this deck. We can sacrifice a prize card here, especially when our opponent's going to be put in a tough position. We are going to Scoop Up Net this Dustox as well so that we can start evolving them. That's the one thing where this deck can become a little heavy on the lock. We're also going to go Scoop Up Net, or Super Scoop Up I should say. So it's okay, we got two that are waiting to evolve. Let's go Frozen Lock. So they're at 10, at the end of their turn they're at 40. They can't play down an Escape Board and they can't switch out of this, so we are going to draw another prize card. Like I said though, the only issue is we're not going to be able to triple poison and paralyze our opponents. And let's see exactly what they grab there. I mean, it would have been nice if they would have been able to attach that energy with Welder. So one recommendation is to attach at the very end of your turn, or when you know that you won't have anything that can affect it. So we got a Devolution Spray Z, which is pretty awesome, but we're probably going to get knocked out here, unfortunately. Let's do this. Let's do this, and let's de-evolve that Dustox. Choose any number. We only want to get the one. We're going to choose done there. We're going to grab it back, the Dustox. And one thing that I thought that might be really interesting is they both have 1 retreat cost on their Pokemon. If they can't find a Fire Energy for whatever reason, because they do have a Welder that they didn't play, I might be able to boss order and then bring it back. So let's go boss orders. Let's bring up the Oricorio because it's worth 2 prize cards. And we're going to go Frozen Lock. That's the only reason why I didn't bring up the Absol. So if they're not able to find a Fire Energy to retreat, which they've already seen 4 of their Fire Energies, 7, yeah. So we're just able to put them back in a lock. So there's a Dustox. Now they won't actually be able to get out of the lock at all. We're gonna go Devolution Spray, putting the Dustox back. And we're gonna grab the Dustox back again with Turffield. We don't really need access to this Ditto anymore because we already have our full setup. We're going to grab a boss order so we could bring up that Blacephalon-GX. And we do have a Grimsley in our hand too, so we have a complete lock, and I don't think our opponent's going to be able to win this game at this point. But we'll see. The game should only last a few more turns. Is there any way that they might be able to get out of the active position? I'm not entirely sure. They might, if they don't have energies, they probably just have Welder and some other trainer cards that they can't actually play. So there's 80 damage. Now let's paralyze them again. So even if they do have a Fire Energy, they can't get out of it. And let's hit them with Frozen Lock again. So that puts them to 90. They're going to be at 120. And going back into this turn, they're going to be at 150 damage. So there's an Ultra Space. It's quite obvious that they top deck that. But there's nothing that you could do when you get into a complete lock, whether it's Pidgeotto Control or Chinchino Mill. So while it would get a knockout coming into our turn, I mean, if we go boss orders on their Blacephalon-GX and then poison them, and then Grimsley there, is that better? Yeah, because we're drawing less prize cards if they were to somehow find a way to shuffle our hand with like a Marnie, if they were to play Marnie. Okay, so there's that. We are going to bump this again. You can see that there's nothing in our deck. We're hoping to get a Devolution Spray, a Scoop Up Net, something like that. That'd be really awesome. Let's go Frozen Lock. And that's extra damage because they are weak to us. So they're going to go back into our turn, going to be at 80 damage. The one issue is we will need to Grimsley here. We need to move 2 damage counters because Oricorio has 20 HP left. So let's go ahead and Grimsley. So move the damage counters from. We're going to move the damage counters to. So there's a 20. Done. That's a knockout. We're going to draw 2 of our prize cards. Of course, we had to draw both water energies. We are going to paralyze and triple poison this Blacephalon-GX again. The biggest issue is that we potentially miss this. I don't know how the math works now. 110. I think we actually got it. As long as they don't have a way to get her there. There's 140 damage. And then they're already triple poisoned, so we can go Frozen Lock. We're going to give our opponent the Well Played and hit them with the Frozen Lock for the easy 6 prize card sweep. Our opponent got a little bit unlucky, and we got a little lucky, but that was crazy. We'll take that. Alright, peeps. As you saw in this video today, we got Dustox in the full lock against a Baby Blacephalon deck. We were able to beat a Magcargo deck that scooped very early. I mean, this deck can beat other control decks. It can beat Baby Blacephalon, which is one of the best decks in the format. And we were able to do that with Frozen Lock to lock our opponent's items. And then infinitely with our Scoop Ups, Devolution Spray Z, and Super Scoop Ups, we could do triple poison and paralyze them so they can't attack. They are paralyzed. They are taking damage. We can control those damage counters with Grimsley, get cards like that back with Cynthia and Caitlin, and really just focus on everything. We do have Zigzagoon too if we need to manipulate the damage a little bit. And of course, if our opponent has something going on with too much energy, we can just take it out with Articuno-GX. Is this deck the ultimate lock deck? I'm honestly not sure, but let me know how you feel in the comments below. And like I said, just come back to the Lone Clown. We got a lot of great videos on here. Totally appreciate all y'all hanging out here. Take it easy, peeps. Have a great one. Really hope that you enjoyed watching that video. I totally enjoyed making it. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like the video, share the video with everyone that you know, and subscribe to the channel as well. Totally appreciate all the support. We got a lot of cool things happening on the channel, so stay tuned for more. Be sure to check out the social links in the description. Thanks and have yourself a great one.